morning, y'all. How are you? Patrick and I have worked together since my inception and joining M Moser, and it's been a thrill. Today, we are going to roll up our sleeves and talk about something a little different than yesterday. We're going to talk about how to deliver the workplace, okay? And those experiences initially made me feel awkward. I have a lot of experience in both construction and design. Years and years, we won't talk about how many, right? But I was uncomfortable when I started questioning some of these things, and you may be a little bit too, and that's okay. But to get different results, what do we need to do? We have got to think about things in a different way, right? So I'm the director at M Moser for Raleigh-Durham office. Work also all over where the clients need me. Patrick is the senior vice president for corporate real estate and services at Syneos Health. What if we could change the way in which we did WorkSpace? How would you start doing that? Last year, you heard from my teammate Grant about the adaptable workplace. And a few years before that, you heard from Nabil about how behavioral-based design can really frame and change an organization. And just then, the pandemic disrupted the way that we worked, like in a very base way. And ever since that moment, we have been exploring this consistently through conceptual study and design, okay? We have, from organizations, we are consistently hearing, we just want people back. How can we get people back? They're not having a lot of success doing that either. I think we talked a little bit about that yesterday, and have tried so many things. You know, reducing real estate, new furniture solutions, and then some people say, we're pausing, we're going to double down on the way we're working today. We need a minute. And some have added amenities to their buildings and their spaces, programs, right? And us Southerners, we feed people, I'm sure y'all do too, right? Feeding people, trying to bring culture and community into the workplace. Really what we talked about a lot yesterday was culture. So this works for the day or the hour, but we really haven't sparked significant change. All of these things are valid solutions for the way we're seeing it today, which is a challenge of attendance. Well, tomorrow, what's going to be? There's going to be something else that challenges the ways in which we work. It might be an economic moment. It might be a huge world event. None of us know what that's going to be. So we really need to move away from the fixed solution, another fixed solution, to something that's more adaptable. We need to understand and realize how to adapt. Adaptability is not movable furniture, not solely. It's way more holistic than that. We have to understand and start to think about it physically, which we're doing, in the utilization of the space, which we're doing, and also through the execution, and then once it's installed beyond that. So this year, we're going to focus on the pragmatic, and it's how you're going to get it done, okay? I'm going to use my full Southern self up here because that's the way I work.
Is that Larry the Cable Guy? Get her done?
Get it done, right. We're going to do it a little bit more polished than that.
Okay.
Though. Yeah. So change is constant, absolutely. And we've heard a lot about the word resilience over the last several years. And in order to have resilience, you have to be adaptable to your situation. So the ways to create adaptability in the workplace are 4, as we've thought about this. And we're going to take you through a few of those today. So we've been working with several organizations on major shifts in how they deliver work, right? And how space is created. Syneos Health is one of those. And Patrick's going to walk us through his journey to make the workplace a competitive advantage long term.
I'm going to start it off with a video. So look familiar? We've been talking about this entire, none of this is new, right? We all experience this. We had 30,000 employees that just went home and never came back. We had a lot of real estate. I had a coffee chat with our CEO, and we just decided we're going to use it or lose it. And boy, that lit a fire under me and my team to figure out what we needed to keep, what we could get rid of, and what was the right responsible fiduciary responsibility I had to manage the portfolio in a financially responsible way. So I'm here to share with you the 3 things we did, what we did, how we built learning into the process, and then finally what results we're seeing. So we're a biopharmaceutical services company. We do everything from preclinical trial to the 4 clinical phases to commercialization of a compound to those ad campaigns that you may see on TV. We have 72 facilities in 36 countries. And we have a deep responsibility to do something. And we had an urgency to take action. Our workplaces were a commodity. Not worth the commute. We had a sea of desks. How's that compelling to get in your car and drive to? An empty sea of desks. Because people would come in, they'd sit at one of those desks by themselves and say, why did I come here? So we knew that people were coming in to have an experience and to be successful, to come into the office, build social capital, learn, connect, and be more successful. And we weren't delivering that. So we went to my friend Jen at M Moser with a very simple request. I said, Jen, if I give you some of this space, can you help me create something people won't want to miss out on? Not a blank budget.
Yeah.
But of course, Jen said, let's figure it out. And so the other piece to it, and Jen loves this about me, I wanted to do it fast because I knew those 30,000 people were developing habits. And as you develop a habit, it's really hard to change your habit. So there was a real sense of urgency to make these changes, make them fast, before everyone got the 40-inch monitor, curved monitor at their house and never showed up again. The outcome is something we call our Collab Labs. So collaboration is one of our 3 values as a company. And of course, we're in the lab to life pharmaceutical services business. It's a space for connection, collaboration, and wellness. We're really proud of this. And I know the question that all of you have, does Chris Hemsworth work at Syneos Health? Thor maybe does. So I think he's an M Moser employee. So far, we have dedicated Collab Labs in London, Farnborough in the UK, the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina, where our headquarters is located. And we're in development with one in Munich, and we're in the planning stages for one in Tokyo. We've seen this as a very successful venue for people that come in. They don't necessarily come to the office every day. They don't have a desk, and they just want to come and connect with people and really get the value of that, so social interactions. So we built learning into the process by embedding sensors throughout these facilities. What we really wanted to know is what furniture settings are getting used. Is that weird beanbag chair in the corner? Does anybody ever sit there? Because I want to throw it away. But somebody told me that was a good idea. I think we threw away the beanbag chair.
You threw it away.
Because we really wanted to understand how are we using the space? What space aren't we using, and can we repurpose it? Shout out to VergeSense. Where's my friends at VergeSense? Right there, Kelby. So they've been our partner in this. I think we lucked out. We found a great partner to help us with this and really help build integrations that help us really understand what desks are getting used, what desks are not getting used. Fascinating data coming out of there. Why does somebody sit there and not sit there? And once you go and sit there, you go, oh, well, it's because there's a draft coming out. It's really weird, really micro information, but it's been very helpful. So. But we learned something along the way. We learned it's great. You built these collaboration spaces. You built these spaces that people want to come and connect and have coffee and chat it up. But you know what? I need to go sit in a conference room, or I need to go sit in an office and be on a Teams call for 3 hours. And I don't want to do that out here in the middle of this fun social space. So we had more work to do. So I called Jen up on a Friday at 5:30. I said, Jen,
It was.
Because Jen loves it when I call her at 5:30 on a Friday because she knows there's a problem. I said,
And it's right now problem. Not
yeah, it's a right
tomorrow
now problem. I said,
Okay.
we're not done. We've only done half the work. People are coming in and they want to concentrate. So despite all this hype about people working from home, and that's where you're going to do all your heads down work. You're going to do it from home. What we found was that could be true for a lot of people, but there was still a large population of people. They wanted to come in, close a door, and focus without their dog barking at them, without their neighbor mowing the grass. They wanted to actually have just peace and quiet to concentrate. And so as you can see, this is an actual screenshot of our VergeSense data. You can see the 4 enclosed offices were by far the highest utilization. And it was almost every day those 4 were full. And people would come in earlier and earlier and earlier because it was all free address. To address this issue, we added phone booths, traditional offices, and large private spaces. Like what you see here, we're calling the Stephen Hawking's room because we love scientists. And people love this. So it's an ergonomic workstation with a tech-enabled table for a meeting of 4 people. This is the highest utilized space in all our portfolio. People love these spaces because you can have a meeting with 3 or 4 people. You can sit, you can close the door. It's been a great success. And I think what I'm really proud about this, Jen, and I know you don't like me always touting this, is we did it in a few weeks, not in a few months. We did demountable partitions. Jen convinced me that it would have acoustic privacy. I was very suspicious of that, but she proved me wrong.
We shouted at each other. We went and shouted at each other
through the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that together. That was fun.
It was fun.
But how'd you pay for it?
How did I pay for all this? Because you're probably wondering, boy, that sounds like a lot of capital, and it was. So what we did was we sat down with the ELT and we had a brutal conversation, literally printing out every site, sitting with the ELT and saying, look, where do we have locations that are in talent pools that are important to us, important to our customers, important to our partners, and are convenient for our employees? It was a fairly brutal process of crossing things off the list and saying, look, we like having an office there, but it doesn't make sense anymore. So we closed a significant amount of our portfolio, roughly 50%. And through those savings, just taking a portion of those savings and converting it into capital to reinvest, we were able to reinvest in almost every one of the offices that we really care about. So we also agreed with our ELT, use it or lose it, going back to the first comment. And so we had obviously a pretty good motivation to figure out what spaces were really going to get used and what were nice to haves. I'm very proud to say, even by reducing our footprint substantially, we're seeing 57% more unique people walking through the door, and those people are coming in 20% more than they did a year ago. And the total days worked in the office is up 71%. And if I could show you how much we reduced our portfolio, it really would show you that we are delivering twice the experience in half the space. So we went from feeling, I don't know about all of you, I personally was starting to question my career choice. Coming out of the pandemic, I'm like, do I need to reskill here and learn ChatGPT? Maybe I still do. But we went from feeling uncertainty about the future and our careers to being proud that we have vibrant workplaces within our portfolio. And our people that do the work in our offices truly are shortening the distance from lab to life. We're helping our clients bring compounds to market faster to treat illness. And so I'm very proud of this, and we're going to continue working on it. The work is not done yet, but we truly believe our workplace is a strategic advantage. Back over to you, Jen.
I do expect to get another Friday at 5:30 phone call, by the way.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. Hey, I'm thinking about this. If we want to innovate past the current models that we have, we're going to need to spend a little time on some things. We're going to have to think about process, delivery, and how we learn. So, the design process. Are you ready to make decisions in a different way? But you're going to have to think about that. We were asked by a New York financial institution to come and help them, and the remit was this: reduce our 1 million square foot portfolio by 80%, while simultaneously reinventing the workplace for connection, for the team. The conversations with leadership in that organization started a year before there was ever a project. And we did a lot of learning. This is very important. These relationships with you so that we can help you in the best way possible. What we learned was they could never keep on schedule in anything they ever did because the stakeholders did not work or decide in linear ways. It wasn't A, B, C. So we said, okay, let's not fight that. What if we embraced it? What if we looked at the model and questioned all the traditional design process and we broke it intentionally? What would happen? So we rebuilt it in a way that was appropriate for that organization. And the result of this conversation and process was that it allowed us to iterate throughout the design process and even into construction without derailing the direction of the project. Okay? How, right? So instead of every time a stakeholder went, what if we did this? Instead of taking the whole team and going there and exploring that, what we did was we kept the team moving and we took a few select members that were dedicated to doing this exercise into that what if, studied it, validated it, and then if it was good, we brought it back into the process. And if it was just a derailing, then we couldn't. So we designed how that space would change over time for the bank. But these were uncharted waters, and we had challenges. One of the big challenges was ourselves. We had to think more adaptively ourselves with a lot of designers that was used to a process. Integrated delivery, I do that all the time. It's design and delivery together. So to me, they're one and the same. Can you do this change on today's timelines? We had to start improving how we executed work, not just how we designed it. We integrated all the services from design through construction, all the pieces and parts, and we were able to manage two of the other big challenges, speed to market and cost certainty. Speed to market is now, right now, and you're working with budgets you did a year ago, you didn't even know what the scope was. Patrick is in that budget cycle right now, putting dollars to projects and trying to project.
It goes something like this.
Okay. I told somebody the other day in our meeting that you would feel this slide, so I hope you're feeling it out there. Traditional methods are designed to produce common results in a linear way and to get to decisions in a linear way. No room for change. This year, this is the last example, a UK-based fintech client wanted to set up a US hub in Florida, and they sought to redefine workplace, rebrand, and relocate a lot of their US offices. They had limited resources and a limited staff. So they asked us, can you do 40,000 square feet in 5 months with a little bit of funds? They didn't have reality check. We needed one. We sat down, we had a lot of work on what were our highest priorities, and those were vision and timeline. In order to reach these goals, we had to work differently. Every person in the process had to think of it as working together. Contractors, consultants, and every client team. We had to shift from static stages of design to one that was way more fluid. We didn't have time to stop and evaluate schematic DD, etc. So we went to virtual. Once we got the base plan established, we went to the virtual 3D immediately. We started doing renders, and we used that visualization so the client have comfort with what they were making decisions about. So we love working this way. The client's comfortable, they can say yes, go, keeps the timeline moving as the design team keeps working. One profit center globally, we could put a team together that works almost 24/7, and we did. So after pre-design, we stacked the construction planning, the cost tracking with the design process. So we're doing that planning while design is continuing. Now, you have to have trust in your process to work this way. Okay? It's not going to happen just because you wish it into. You have to do it really intentionally. So jointly, as a group, every member of the group, every consultant that was required, we helped them go from real estate solution to literal coffee cups on the shelves under one contract. Change continuous. Are your people ready for adaptation? It's safe to say the projects are never precisely what we want them to be on day one. That's unrealistic. But you're going to have that day too, but what about 10 and 20? So even after you do that, you have to continue to be okay with that. So the trick is, let's design a space that's adaptable, think about it as adaptable, and then you don't have to commit a bunch of time and finances to do it in the future when you know it's the time to do it. We collect the data, as Patrick was talking about, we look at it with the client, and we think about that. And when you have that data, it will point you to when you need to make those adjustments. Okay, we're not here asking questions, what if? I'm here to help you get things done. I am really good, and our team at M Moser is really good at looking in you and knowing you and saying, what is your problem? How can we help you? Okay? In recent years, with near constant change, we've learned a few things about using the process to help you. So we're going to continue to execute in the workplace. Change is going to continue to happen, all right? What we need to do is figure out how we can do it and become more responsive and less linear. I'd love to talk to anybody about this. I thank Patrick for coming up here with me today. We enjoy working together. We love the client and design relationship. So if we can help you, please let us know. Okay? Thank you very much for listening this morning.